Okay. Let me adjust this for a sec. Okay. I'm just going to say this now. If you're not a fan of cussing, please don't watch this video. If you can't handle cussing, if you're not, it's just like, it's not your thing, you just don't like to hear it, you're more, PG, you're looking for PG-13, PG, it ain't here. So you might as well click off now, because even after a day to sit on it, I'm still livid. And listen, okay. I drove my happy ass 8 hours in total between the 6.5 it takes to get from here, North Carolina, where I'm at, to Morgantown to stay with my cousin, and then from the 1.5 it takes to drive from Morgantown to Pittsburgh. We go to the game, and here's the thing. I don't even know what to say. I thought I had it all planned out. That last 5 minutes of football, let me just tell you, as somebody who was there in the stadium, right? When we scored that touchdown to go up by 10 at the end of the 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we scored that touchdown to go up by 10. That should have been the game. I saw fucking Pitt fans start to leave. They thought it was over. The whole everybody, we had some Pitt fans sitting next to us. Luckily, they weren't that much assholes to us. They were pretty chill. They were being dickheads to the people in front of us, though. But they weren't yelling at us. I mean, I guess because the one dude was, friendly with me, and, we were cutting it up a little bit, and, he would fuck with me a little, do the little rawr in my face every time they got a first down, but then I'd get up and cheer every time we did the little fucking bullshit we do when we get a first down. It was fun. The game was fun to go. Until the last 5 minutes, because the momentum was on our side until, I wouldn't even say, everybody wants to point the finger at the second and 30, when they scored a 40-yard fucking touchdown in triple coverage. That's not what ended the game. I think what ended the game and what started to give them momentum to move the ball up into that second and last drive where they scored the 2 touchdowns to cut the lead and then to win. They had 2 yards of offense in the second half. What gave them momentum was we had a couple of third downs, second downs where we had them behind the sticks on that first drive. I mean, on that drive where they scored that first touchdown and cut the lead to 3. We had them. And then we had no QB spy in the linebackers, and then he would scramble and get a few yards. And that, their quarterback scrambling and able to find a couple plays, that gave them confidence to operate their offense. Because before that, our defense had them on the fucking rope. The defensive line had them on the ropes. And the punt thing, oh my God, I'm going to get to that. But, as a West Virginia fan, the moment that it was 1st and 30, it was 1st and 10 on the goal line, I'm like, oh, fuck, we're about to lose this game. And then they had the 2 holding penalties in a row. It was 1st and 30, and the guy, he's the guy who's sitting next to me, who's a Pitt fan, was like, "Hey, y'all are probably gonna win this game," and I'm like, "Don't underestimate our ability to fuck this up, right?" And then as I say that, the next play is the 2nd and 30 touchdown in triple coverage, and I literally turned to the guy. I said, "See, I told you we'd fuck this up." Because it's so emblematic of Neil Brown's tenure. We're up by 10 with 5 minutes left. And then we get the ball back. And this motherfucker becomes more conservative than fucking Barry Goldwater. And calls 3 inside zones up the middle on our own fucking 15 or something? We were at the 25. We're at our own 25. We get behind the fucking sticks. We go 3 and out, and then punt them the ball back with 1:12 minutes left. As soon as we went 3 and out and we had to punt, I'm like, we're going to fucking lose. We're going to lose this game. And I'm sitting there, I swear to God, I'm sitting in the upper deck in section 531, which is where we were at. I'm sitting there like this the whole fucking time. Literally like this, as they fucking slowly but surely march down the fucking field. And the coaching was god awful. On the first play of that drive, we had 10 players on the field, and Rodney Gallagher, who's a fucking wide receiver, was told to run out and guard one of their fucking players. Right? So, like, the whole dysfunction of that final 5 minutes, and I know it's been said ad nauseum by a lot of people that covered the game. Neil Brown coaches not to lose. He does this. He's done it for 6 motherfucking years. For 6 years, he's coached not to lose. And guess what? We fucking lose every time. Because he doesn't know what the fuck, how to, look, when we were up 10, when we scored that touchdown to go up 10, right? Fucking go for the jugular vein. Like, what are you doing? And our defensive coordinator needs to be fucking sent back to East Mississippi Community College where he belongs. Okay, go make another fucking documentary because you could not cut out the coach in Division I, Power 5, Power 4, whatever the fuck. Because every time I notice, it's 1st and 10, it's 2nd and 15, it's 3rd and 23, and our fucking defensive backs, our corners, are lined up 10 to 15 or sometimes even 20 yards off the fucking ball. On 1 3rd down and 23, which I think ended in a 4th down turnover because that was when they did the stupid fucking, like, screen bullshit that ended up getting 0 yards that we got lucky with because Pitt talked themselves out of fucking running a normal offensive play on that possession. It was 3rd down and 23 before that, the play before. And then, because our fucking corners are 20 yards off the ball on 3rd and 20, they get like 18, 19, 20 yards on 3rd and 20. We have them, when you have them behind the sticks, why are you fucking playing so far back? Because then you're just gifting them yardage. Every time we had them behind the sticks on 2nd down and 3rd down, our corners were way off. Playing fucking prevent, and they couldn't guard a fucking marshmallow. They couldn't fucking cover Stephen Hawking without a wheelchair. That's how bad our defensive secondary is. They're not good. They're not, or the defensive scheme is just shit. Which, that might be what it is, actually. Or other things, I don't know. It's just, go back and watch the videos I've made. And I'm going to actually make them available. Because I made them private for a while. The old videos. But I'm going to go back. I'm going to put them back up. And I want you to watch what I said in 2022 when we lost to Pitt the first time. Every criticism I had of Neil Brown then, and what then ensued after that on the rest of the season when we lost to Kansas. This is literally deja fucking vu. And I hate to say I told you so. I really hate to say I told you so. But I've been saying this. I've been saying this for the last 3 fucking years. We needed to fire this guy. 3 years I've been saying that. So, the 2022 season, after we started 0-2, actually, no, it was 1-3 I think we started because we lost to Texas. Right? After we beat fucking Towson. Congratulations. Whoop-de-doo. We beat fucking Towson. Congratulations. And we lost in an embarrassing fashion in the backyard brawl the first time when it was on Thursday night. So that season, when we went 5-7, missed a bowl game in his 4th season, he had not yet eclipsed 6 wins, and he had 1 bowl game in a shortened COVID year, the Liberty Bowl. Congratulations. Big fucking deal. He should have been fired then, because after 4 years of his tenure, he has never, after 4 years of his tenure to that point, he had the same problems. His coaching sucked. His fucking play calling sucks. If I have to see another offensive series, inside zone, wide receiver screen on 3rd and 10, punt the fucking ball, one more time, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. At least with Dana Holgorsen, we were putting up 50. We might not have had a fucking defense, but at least it was fun to watch us lose. Now, it's like a fucking, like literally like my teeth are slowly being fucking pulled with no Novocaine, and it's It's just a disaster to watch. Nobody wants this offense. Every time we got like a big play, it felt like a fucking Herculean effort. You know, like we had like what 3 or 4 big plays, and it literally like when we scored that touchdown at the end of the game, where I thought the game was over, and any coach worth a fucking damn, it would have been over. When we scored to go up 10, me and my fucking cousin and our friends that we were with, we both looked at each other like, holy shit, did that just fucking happen? Because it like never happens with this offense. The offensive guru from fucking Troy, Alabama, brought his fucking vanilla bullshit raid offense to West Virginia, and we're just a boring offense to watch. The only time we ever get chunk yardage is if like an inside zone we bust out an inside zone or a screen, we get lucky and get a couple yards. And these screens take fucking forever to develop because they're like, oh, let's fake the screen this way, and then we're going to turn around like this, and then we're going to throw the screen this way, and then hopefully the fucking guy doesn't get sacked. And we don't push the ball down the field. I think we had like 3 or 4 or maybe 5 fucking like long pass plays down the field, and then Garrett Green, who I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. This motherfucker can't throw the football. This guy can't throw the ball. Even on the big plays we had, the only good throw he had was the fucking, should have been the game-winning touchdown to seal the deal. That was the only good throw I saw the motherfucker make. Every other throw was like, Cole Taylor one time did an out route, which was one of his 4 catches that he disappeared like fucking Houdini, but he did an out route, and the defender's over here, and he's right here, the sideline's over here, nobody there. Garrett Green throws the fucking ball, and he has to catch it like this. Any more to the fucking right, and it would have been intercepted. That's how bad his throwing is. He throws it like he's not accurate at all, and then Cole Taylor had to catch it, gather himself, and then turn around, and by the time he fucking had to gather himself, because he didn't put him in stride where the ball should have been, he put it on the inside, and then he had to turn around, he got fucking tackled short of the first down. Like, the only good throw he had was to fucking Robinson to win should have won the game. The only good throw he had. The Hudson Clement touchdown that got called back, and I didn't even get to see the replay. I still haven't seen the replay, but a lot of people have said it was a ticky-tack bullshit call. It looked like it because our entire offensive line was getting fucking mangled, and Garrett Green was lucky he got the ball off. But even that throw he had to Hudson Clement was underthrown. Like, you saw Hudson had to fucking stop himself. And then there was another long touchdown that we had where we threw the ball, and it was like a 40-something yarder, like 44 yards. It was down the left side of the field. Like, if you're looking at the Pitt logo, it's right side up. It was down this way. So, but he underthrew him. If he hits him in stride, that's a fucking touchdown too. And there's other throws where and then the Tua-esque interception that he threw, where he overthrew the fucking receiver, and the only people that were in the area were 2 fucking defenders. I swear to God, it looked like Tua Tagovailoa. And don't get me started on my Dolphins. Between my Dolphins and the goddamn Mountaineers this weekend, I've had enough of football for the whole fucking year. I'm done. But listen, guys, Neil Brown, he said in his fucking press conference, it's not like we have more people in the bullpen. That's your fucking job as the recruiter. You recruit the players. If you don't even fucking think they can win, what the fuck makes you think we should believe that? And everybody's, we still have Big 12 play, and the overwhelming consensus is that this motherfucker needs to go. I don't give it. Look, I said this at the beginning, after we lost to fucking Penn State. I said this. 9-4 was a fucking fluke. We played shitty teams. We got lucky against shitty teams. The only win that we had against a fucking team that finished over 500, I think, was like TCU. Like, and that was another miracle that we won that fucking game. We lost to Houston, which was abysmal, on a fucking Hail Mary against Dana Holgerson before he got shit canned there. I mean, wow, congratulations, we beat fucking North Carolina when about 10 of their starters were, like, probably fucking gone because they went to the draft. Neil Brown, that last 5 minutes, look, I'm telling you, the whole fucking momentum, I was there, I felt it. I'm just sitting there the whole time like this. And I'm like, we're going to lose this fucking game. And it's just so West Virginia. It's so WVU. It's not even funny, but it is in a way. It's just, I've been watching this team. Since fucking as long as I can remember watching college football. I think I started when I was like 12. Like I think the first season I really remember was when we won the Orange Bowl, when we beat the shit out of Clemson, and that really set my expectations. Like, oh, we're actually a good football program, right? Because like when Rich Rod was here, I was like 7, 8, 9. Like I was young as fuck. Like I didn't really know about Pat White. Like I watched the highlight tapes and shit like that, but I wasn't like conscious of that. I started watching basically when Holgerson started coaching is when I started watching WVU. And then we went through 2013 where we started 7-0. We were number 6 or 7 in the country. And then we lost 6 games in a row and lost in a fucking Pinstripe Bowl to fucking Syracuse or something. And then the next year we went, in 2014, we went 4-8. Jesus Christ, I don't know how that happened. 2015, I think we had an okay year in 2015. Oh, that was Clint Trickett. That was the Clint Trickett year where we had Kevin White, the receiver. And then it was 2016 with Skylar Howard undefeated. 2017, Will Greer. 2018. And then, then I had to suffer. While I was in college, I only got one good year of football, which was the 2018 year when we were ranked number 6 at one point. And then it's just, it's been slowly getting fucking worse as I've been watching West Virginia. And it's just so disheartening. It's like, I don't know what we need, like a fucking system shock to save our school at this point with the football program, because it's like we've been spinning our tires now for 6 years. And a lot of people will blame Jordan Leslie. It's all his fault. It's the defense's fault. It's Jordan Leslie's fault. We need to fire Jordan Leslie. It's not all Neil Brown's fault. We need to fire Jordan Leslie. Here's the fucking deal, pal. If it took 3 years of dog dick defense from Professor Leslie, what the fuck? That's a symptom of the bigger problem. It's not Jordan Leslie that's the problem. He's part of the problem. The problem is Neil Brown. If it takes you 3 years and getting embarrassed constantly on national television over and over and over and over and over and over and over again in a big game, and your defense shits itself, and it takes you 3 years to figure out that you need to fire your fucking assistant coach, maybe you're just not that in tune with what needs to happen. His biggest mistake was coming to West Virginia, where unlike in Troy or other mid-ass fucking programs like fucking Vanderbilt and fucking, actually their shit program, like Wake Forest or fucking, Purdue or fucking, like Boston College and like Stanford and mid-ass teams, I'm not saying they're bad, I'm saying they're mid as fuck, right? Where, and when I mean mid, I mean like 8 wins for them is an accomplishment. If you win 8 wins at West Virginia, big fucking deal, nobody cares. Before we got to the Big 12, we were winning conference titles in a row. We had won 6 fucking Big East titles in 8 or 9 years when we were in the Big East still? And that's like that should be the expectation, that we're competing at least for a conference title, because we've done that before as a program consistently. And Neil Brown, a part of his problem too, as much as I love the state of West Virginia, a lot of our strength, a lot of the best players that we've had in recent years have come from the South. You're talking about guys that have come from South Florida. West Virginia used to recruit the shit out of South Florida. Fucking New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and like Alabama and Georgia. That's where you get the fucking good recruits. And Texas. But Texas there's 58 million fucking schools in Texas. Good luck trying to pry those kids away from University of Texas or any of those other fucking schools. In South Florida, up until recently, Miami, which was fucking dog shit for the longest time, because they've had shitty coaches after shitty coach. I still don't even... the jury is still out on me for Mario Cristobal. Until he can win an ACC title, then I won't... Then I'll maybe give a fuck about Miami. But, like, we used to recruit so much out of South Florida. Think about all the fucking amazing players that came from South Florida. All right? Not only that just played for WVU, but have played all over them. Lamar Jackson's from South Florida. I think Geno Smith played at Miramar. Like, fucking all, like, a lot of great players that played for West Virginia were from South Florida. And Neil Brown's insistence on trying to stay in-state and recruit in West Virginia, and he wonders why, and Neil Brown wonders why our fucking talent has gone to the wayside. Because you're not recruiting in the high-talent areas. And that's not to say that West Virginia doesn't have good recruits. Yes, they do. But it's called math. And I'm not dissing the state of West Virginia. I'm saying you're insistent on recruiting from a pool of only 1.7 million people rather than states with 10 million, Georgia, North Carolina, 11 million, Florida, 21 million people in Florida, Texas, 36 million. It's math. It's all it is. It's math. You can't build a winning program if you hyper-focus on getting recruits from inside your own state and then neglect recruiting everywhere else and then wonder why we're fucking sucking. And then the cherry on top to the whole Neil Brown experiment for me has been the fact that now he's throwing his own fucking players under the bus with the whole, we don't have a personnel. We don't have anybody waiting in the fucking bullpen. We've got to coach them better. How about you just a fucking bad coach? We've got to coach them better. Because you can't. That's you trying to save your own ass from blame. I know it sounds counterintuitive. Oh, but he's saying that he needs to coach better. No. He's at his fucking ceiling of coaching. If after 6 years of your own recruits coming in and your own development programs trying to employ on these players and the shitty fucking people that we keep, getting in the transfer portal and the good players we keep losing in the transfer portal, after 6 years, the jury has come back and rendered a fucking verdict on Neil Brown, and it ain't looking good for us. Legitimately speaking, looking forward to this season. Let's look forward to the season for a second. We have up next on the schedule, we have Kansas, who for some reason every time Jalen Daniels plays us, he looks like fucking the second coming of Lamar. Had a fucking child with Pat White. And every mobile quarterback you've ever seen, Randall Cunningham, Warren Moon, fucking any mobile. That's what Jalen Daniels looks like against us. I'm not saying we're going to lose. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. So let's just say for the sake of argument, we lose to Kansas. Now we're 1-3. And if you think we're going to beat Oklahoma State after a bye week at 1-3 in their building when we consistently struggled against Oklahoma State, when we were up by 10. I don't know what it is with Neil Brown being up by 10, because last year against Oklahoma State we were up by 10 in our own fucking building and choked that shit away because of fucking Preston Fox having a guy blocked into him. They muffed the punt, they recover, then they allowed 300 yards rushing, and it was a fucking shit show. But you think if we're 1-3 going into Oklahoma State, if you think we're going to win that game, you're on coke or you're on other fucking psychotic drugs. So so then we're 1-4. If we're 1-4, and again, everybody please remember the hype that we got coming into this fucking season. We were going to compete for a Big 12 title. We were going to be competing for a fucking place in the playoff. They were insulted that they were only picked to win with 6.5 wins. They were insulted by that. We were supposed to put up a fight against Penn State. We were supposed to beat Pitt. We were supposed to fucking do this. We were supposed to fucking look much improved. We were supposed to have big chunk plays on offense. Garrett Green was supposed to fucking be more accurate. The defensive backfield was supposed to be much improved. The offensive line was supposed to be really good. The fucking run game was supposed to be in top in the country and all that. And here we are. We're 1-2 going in to the fucking Kansas game. And they're going to be hungry because they just got embarrassed at home by UNLV. And guys, look, nothing would make me happier than if we ran the table, finished 10-2, and made the fucking Big 12 championship somehow. Nothing would make me happier than that. But we have to face reality, folks. We have to face reality. If the 5 years that we've just experienced has taught us anything, it means that shit ain't gonna happen. We'd be lucky if we finish with 5 fucking wins. We're gonna be lucky if we finish with 5 wins this year. This is 2022 all over again. This is literally 2022 all over again. Remember 2022, we had insane hype. JT Daniels, all these fucking players were supposed to be amazing. We had new and improved offensive coordinator. We're supposed to do all these things. We end up finishing with 5 fucking wins. The season spiraled out of control after we lost to Pitt and Kansas back-to-back, started 0-2. And again, I'm going to put the video back up. Please go watch that. Please go watch that old video because it's just so... You could literally replace the year in your head. You could take that video, pretend it's this year, and then insert it into this situation we have now, and it mirrors identically. This guy it's the same problems we've been having. And it's the same fucking issues for 6 years. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And I'd be surprised if Nico sticks around, if we don't eventually turn to him at some point this year. He's still got 2 years left of eligibility. And I don't know, like at least give Nico a shot because Garrett Green did not look very impressive. You know, I saw maybe glimpses of it when he was scrambling around and he looked like freer and we started to open up the offense again. But then Neil Brown coached himself out of a win. You know, so many people have said it. It's snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. That's what we did. Again, we did this year against Pitt. We did it last year against fucking Oklahoma State and Houston and other schools that we lost to. We did it 2 years ago against Pitt, okay? And then 2021, we did it against Oklahoma. Remember that game? We were on the road. They were top fucking 3 team in the country. We were winning the whole game. We ended up losing that game. Again, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. It's Neil Brown's fucking signature. It's what he does. He sucks. He loses. You hire Troy coaches, get Troy fucking results, folks. It's just that simple. The guy ain't cut out for West Virginia. He could probably be an amazing fucking group of 5 coach because his schemes suck. His route concepts suck. They're boring. They don't push the ball down the field. They're not electric. They're not threatening at all on offense. And every time we get a good play, we don't ever repeat it. And we go right back to inside zone, fucking screen, or screen, inside zone, screen, or inside zone, like we did on the last possession, and end up fucking punting the ball away. And here we go, I forgot to talk about the punt, the fake punt. Now, first of all, the fake punt, we know that shit wasn't scripted because the fucking punter took his sweet-ass time to decide to run. I think he was nervous as shit that if I don't get this, then I'm going to get fucking chewed out. But we get the fake punt. Caught them by surprise. They called back the Hudson Clement touchdown. And this play, which nobody is talking about. Everybody's talking about the punt block. But they're not talking about it in the right way. Because the thing that you should be thinking about, and the thing that should be raising alarm bells in your head, is not that they blocked the punt. It's that the play call on the punt, they didn't call a max protection on that punt. They allowed Pitt to fucking run through and block the punt. And again, this is just how you know they're not good coaches. Because the first thing I'm thinking of is after they call the fucking touchdown back, and then we do inside zone screen, and we don't get the first down because we got demoralized, and Neil Brown gets demoralized very easily and then has to go back to his scripted 3 plays of inside zone, bubble screen, and tunnel screen. Or that stupid fucking sweep he kept doing with Donaldson where Donaldson is not a speed back. Or if Jaheim White fumbles another fucking ball, I'm going to lose my mind. But literally, that 4th down play, the first thing you should be thinking as a coach when we have to punt again, well, seeing as how we just faked the punt and got a first down, they're going to come after the punter. We better fucking protect them. No, apparently nobody on the fucking West Virginia sideline thought of that at all. And they proceed to call a fucking random ass, let's spread everybody out by 15 yards and allow Pitt to rush right through and score a fucking touchdown. That touchdown is the difference of the game. That touchdown is the difference of the game. That touchdown is the difference of the game. The second and 30 debacle, difference of the game. It's not just, everybody's only talking about the last 5 minutes, which, yes, that was the worst coaching I've ever seen in my fucking lifetime. And I watched his last 5 minutes against Pitt the first time, and this was worse. This was honestly worse than that. Because you could make an argument that the Bryce Ford Wheaton interception was a fluke accident, and it wasn't necessarily, maybe some people maybe he was just afraid he had a bad decision not to go for it on 4th down. Again, bad coaching. But this 5-minute stretch was worse than that. But nobody's talking about the other fucking miscues we had. Randomly calling timeouts, bad play calling in the first half. It was just the whole fucking thing, man. There was moments throughout this thing where you could just, I'm like looking around, what the fuck are we doing? And it's just a lack, it just seems like a lack of intelligence on the sideline. Like, why are we fucking going so conservative on offense? We have them on the fucking ropes. We're on the road. We have a lot of West Virginia fans in this fucking audience, right? We've got to fucking push the ball down the field and seal this goddamn game. And instead, they're like, well, let's just hope our defense can stop them. They barely, and they didn't. Narrator then comes in and says, look, I don't know where we go from here. I think, look, we have to fire that motherfucker. I know so many people are going to be like, well, we can't fire him in the middle of the season. Let's just wait and see. And, we're probably still going to have to let him go anyway. But, look, we cannot stick with him after this shit. We absolutely cannot. And until this guy is gone and packed his fucking suitcase and packed all the money he swindled West Virginia out of and goes back, fucks off back to Kentucky, where he's from, where he belongs, go back there, go coach for fucking Midwestern, Southwestern, Missouri State at Kentucky, University of Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., at Oregon. Go fucking coach there. Nobody wants you here. Never step foot in this fucking state again. Not even traveling through. If you're going on a fucking road trip, I want you to avoid the boundaries of this motherfucking state. Never come in and again. Right? And once he's gone and the entire staff is cleaned out, then we need to fucking hire a coach. And the miracle that I would pray for, I know it ain't going to happen. I know it ain't going to happen, so don't fucking comment and be like, oh, well, that's never going to happen. And that's never going to happen. I'll tell you what. Nick Saban's been talking an awful lot about West Virginia football in the past few weeks. Pat McAfee in his ear, talking. And this is a guy who, before this year, it pretty much seemed like he abandoned the state and didn't give a fuck about WVU anymore and, left it all behind and escaped and never wanted to come back. And, because I remember talking to some of my friends about it. They were like, oh, well, he hates West Virginia. You know what I'm saying? So, I remember that. But you could still tell he wants to coach. And I really do think, I genuinely believe this. I don't think it will happen. But I do think that the one thing that could possibly get Nick Saban out of retirement would be to save his home state's school. The school he grew up watching, the school he loves, the school his family grew up watching. And you heard him today. I mean, you heard him yesterday. I grew up saying beat the hell out of Pitt, and I ain't changing that today. Like, that's his home. He grew up in Fairmont, which is 20 minutes away. Right down I-79 is Fairmont from Morgantown. He grew up there. That's his home. The only thing that could get him out of retirement, I think, would be to come coach at West Virginia to save this fucking shit. Because he's still got it in him. You saw the way, when Jalen Milroe had that touchdown called back for holding and he was at Alabama, he's sitting there like this. You know he wanted to throw a fucking headset. You know he still got it in him. He might have retired a little too early. And you know what? Even if it's for 5 years, 4 years, I don't give a fuck. Because Nick Saban is the type of coach, he's the he's the greatest coach ever. Ever. He's like the one coach that if you get him at your school, you're going to win, period. Like, could you imagine if Nick Saban went to West Virginia? We'd instantly be fucking at least Big 12 title contenders with the amount of talent he'd draw into the school. And the amount of money that would fucking flood into the program if Nick Saban were to get hired. Again, this is all a pipe dream, literally a fucking pipe dream. But if you're bread maker, you better make the fucking call and make sure. You know, at least call him and be like, hey, look, motherfucking Neil Brown ain't going to be around much longer in case you haven't figured that shit out yet. Would you like to, look, I know you just retired, and I know you want to spend time with Miss Terry, but this is your home. This is your place. West Virginia, we've never won a national title, and I think it would be an honor if you were the one to deliver the fucking trophy that we've all been waiting for since 1897. No titles since we became a fucking football program in 1897. And I think that would be the only pitch that could possibly, again, I mean possibly, because this shit ain't going to happen, but we're just speculating and fantasizing, so why don't we just fantasize? If anything is going to get him out of his fucking retirement, it's the fact that West Virginia needs his help. Batman, put on the fucking cape one more time. Bring in some recruits. I guarantee you within 4 years we'll have a national championship in West Virginia with Nick Saban as the head coach. And you know why? And here's the thing. People, and if that doesn't happen, I'm going to say Jimbo Fisher, and I'll explain why in a second. But the thing that everybody underestimates is the fact that if you have Nick Saban at West Virginia with the talent that he can get, we're in the fucking Big 12. We're in the Big... He draws in SEC talent. Could you imagine West Virginia with the SEC roster in the Big 12? We'd fucking win every year. We would never lose a conference championship, ever. If we had fucking SEC Alabama talent at West Virginia, it wouldn't take long for him to develop it. I'm telling you right now, all it takes is 1 year. All it takes is a 1 year run. Look at Michigan. I know they were in the playoff before, but like that all it takes is one fucking miracle run to win a title, right? And with the talent that Nick Saban can attract at a program like West Virginia, entire state behind you, and not only that, you're in the fucking Big 12. Who do you think, name any coach in the fucking Big 12 that is even remotely close to Nick Saban? I'll wait. Mike Gundy? Really? Mike Gundy. Matt Campbell? They can't fucking win anymore. Who? Nobody. We win. I guarantee you we go fucking 12-0 and win the Big 12 every year with Nick Saban. It will literally take 1 year to get us from mediocrity to fucking Big 12 champions in the college football playoff with a fucking bye week. That's all it takes. Literally, that's all it takes. And here, okay, so that's all. Like, that's the one thing that if that happened, it would instantaneously turn us around. And I really do believe that if he was going to come out of retirement at all, it would be to come back to West Virginia. I think there's problems with his contract. He's probably under contract with fucking Alabama still, and we'd have to finesse that. Although, if I'm Nick Saban, I'm like, excuse me, Alabama, I won you how many fucking national titles? I think you could let this one slide after everything I've done for your fucking program, if I'm Alabama. if I'm Nick Saban. I'm literally the greatest of all time. This is my home, and I'm going back home for a couple of years to fucking right the ship. And if I'm telling the athletic director at Alabama that, I'm like, look, I didn't want to come out of retirement, but I've got to save my state. Just after everything I've done for you, I'm asking for one favor. That's what I would say if I was Nick Saban trying to get out of his contract, if that's a problem. I'm sure it is, but anyway, that ain't going to happen, so let's fucking flush that shit down the toilet, because that's literally just me fantasizing about some shit that will never happen. Although I think the chances aren't zero. They're probably 0.01, but it ain't zero. So anyway, so let's go to the more realistic options here. I think Jimbo Fisher is the obvious next choice. Texas A&M is just a cursed program. Everybody forgets this, right? Texas A&M is a cursed program. And Jimbo's, and they criticize, oh, well, his tenure at Florida State was going bad. That also, his decline at Florida State also coincided with Clemson's meteoric rise to fame. So, he also has a national championship, something we don't have as a university. He can attract, he's a good recruiter. And again, with the talent he can attract, we're in the Big 12, we're not in the SEC. We're not Texas A&M, right? With the talent that Jimbo can attract in the Big 12, we could easily be title contenders. Easily. And everybody talks about his win-loss record at Texas A&M and, oh, he was mediocre with the best talent in the league. He's in the fucking SEC. What do you expect with Texas A&M? They had Johnny Manziel, who's one of the greatest college football quarterbacks ever, and they still had 2 losses and didn't even make it to a national title game with Kevin Sumlin during some of those years, right? If you're not Alabama, Georgia, and then in past years, Florida, and then a few fluke years at Auburn, you ain't winning the SEC. It's just that simple. If you're not Alabama, Georgia, Old Florida, or Auburn, you're not winning the SEC, period, point blank. It ain't happening. You could have flashes of greatness. You could win 8 or 9 games. You could make a nice bowl game. You can maybe even win 10 games. But you ain't going to win a fucking SEC championship, and you damn sure ain't going to go to a national title unless you're Auburn, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, or Florida. It ain't happening. That's the SEC. That's what it is. Texas A&M ain't on the motherfucking list now, is it? So everybody is so shocked, and they criticize Jimbo for all this other shit. And again, he's another West Virginia guy. Grew up in where? Mannington, which is, again, not that far from Morgantown. It's like 45 minutes away. Like, he grew up in the same area. He can recruit, and again, everybody's forgetting this part. We're in the fucking Big 12. We're not in the SEC. We're not even in the Big 10. And in the ACC, we're in a wide open conference. The only threat to us is Utah. If we get a good coach with a good staff and good players, that's the only threat. So if you bring in a guy like Jimbo Fisher who has national championship experience, can recruit his ass off, I think you compete for a Big 12 title. I think you do. I think you win 9 or 10 games a year. At the minimum, maybe one year you go 11-1, make the Big 12 title game. This is fucking Big 12. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma State is the only brand left in this conference, and Utah that just joined. They're the only 2 really top dogs, and even then they can be beaten. They're not like Goliath. Like Alabama and Georgia are Goliath in the SEC. You got fucking Ohio State, Goliath in the Big 10. Like now the ACC is wide open too, and it looks like Miami is going to assume the role of the dominant franchise in that league. But guys, again, you guys are overthinking it. It's simple math. It's simple. It's been 6 years. We are barely above 500. We are 32-31 under his tutelage. 32-31 under Neil Brown's tenure. It's the definition of mediocrity. Sometimes you have high. Sometimes you go a little bit above the median. Sometimes you dip down below the median. Eventually, you always find yourself back at the fucking middle, mid-ass, mid-coach, mid-motherfucking mid. That's who he is. That's where we are. And we're mid because of Neil Brown. He's single-handedly, collectively lowered the expectations of the fan base to the point where it's unrecognizable anymore. Remember when, at one point, when Joel Klatt was talking about us for potential college football playoff bid? Remember that? Everybody remember? In 2018, which last time it was what, 6 years ago? Before the year before he got here, we were in college football playoff conversations at some point during that year. And then you fuck all that up. We were on a slowly upward trajectory as a program, and then he fucks it all up. And now we're like down here, slightly going down. I don't know what else to say. We really got to let this guy go. Like, it's time to go. It's time for him to go. And firing him in the middle of the year, yeah, we've never done it. There's a first time for everything, number one. And number two, like, it can't fucking hurt. It literally can't hurt. Because this year is already pretty much a throwaway. Maybe not fire him yet. But as I'm predicting, and this is what I'm saying, and I'm normally right with Neil Brown. Again, 9-4 was a fluke. But as I'm predicting, I think if we start out 1-3, or 1-4, or 2-3, or 2-4, or some combination of the above. If we start off, if we go into Iowa State at 1-4, we have to fucking can them. We have to can them. And then maybe see what you got in some of the assistant coaches, or just fucking let them ride the year out and, just prepare for the worst, prepare for everybody to transfer out, maybe plug in Nico, see what he's got for next year if he doesn't transfer. And you got to do it. You've got to do it. If we start off, I swear to God, if we lose to Kansas, he needs to be fired. Because then we have a bye week and we're going into Oklahoma State and Iowa State. And we're not going to beat those teams, especially if we lose to Kansas at home. If we beat Kansas, we're 2-2. Okay, maybe hold off for now. But I still think even if he does not get at least 9 wins again, if he doesn't go 9-3 and get he can literally, to me, he's got 1 loss left on this entire season before I say cut the fucking shit and let's go. Like, literally, like, if he has one more loss before it's time. He can get 1 more loss. He can afford 1 more loss. Let's just say it's Oklahoma State. Okay. Then we go into the Big 12 championship week, and we are sitting at 9-3, and we are, what are we, like, how many conference games we play? 9. So we would be 8-1 going into the conference championship game. And then depending on how the rest of the conference shakes out, maybe we'll compete for a title, maybe we won't. But that would be the only acceptable outcome for me. Is if we lose 1 more game. But even still, guys, first of all, that's not going. I'm telling you, that's not going to happen based on the track record. It ain't happening. And then number 2, it's just like we're spinning our tires. It's year 6 and we haven't made any improvements. It's time to move on. We have to move on. It's time to fire Neil Brown. And maybe not do it now, but especially if we start, I'm telling you, if we start 1-4. We got to let him go. Enough.